In a cozy apartment nestled in a bustling city, a young woman named Lisa lived a simple yet fulfilling life. Her days were filled with work, friends, and the occasional adventure, but her evenings were often spent in the comfort of her home, where she found solace in cooking and caring for her beloved pet ferret, Nibbles. With his soft, velvety fur and playful antics, Nibbles brought joy and laughter into Lisa's life, often darting around the apartment, exploring every nook and cranny. One particular evening, as the sun dipped below the horizon, casting a warm golden glow through the kitchen window, Lisa decided to prepare a special dinner. She had invited a few friends over for a small gathering, and she wanted everything to be perfect. The aroma of sautéing vegetables filled the air, mingling with the sound of soft music playing in the background. Nibbles, ever the curious creature, watched from his cage, his bright eyes sparkling with excitement as he observed Lisa's every move. As Lisa chopped onions and garlic, she hummed along to the music, completely absorbed in her culinary creation. She had set a pot of water on the stove to boil for pasta, but in her enthusiasm, she became distracted by the rhythm of the music and the delicious smells wafting from the pan. Time slipped away from her, and she forgot about the pot simmering on the stove. Meanwhile, Nibbles, feeling the energy in the room, grew restless in his cage. He loved being part of the action, and the tantalizing scents wafting through the air only fueled his curiosity. After a few moments of watching Lisa, he decided it was time to make his move. With a swift leap, he managed to push open the door of his cage, a feat he had mastered over time, and scampered across the floor toward Lisa. As Nibbles approached, he tugged at Lisa's pant leg, squeaking loudly in an attempt to get her attention. Lisa, momentarily startled, looked down at her furry companion. "What is it, Nibbles?" she asked, chuckling at his antics. She thought he was simply eager to play, as he often was when she was busy in the kitchen. However, there was an urgency in his behavior that she couldn't quite place. Nibbles continued to tug at her pants, his little body vibrating with energy. He darted back and forth, squeaking more insistently, trying to communicate that something was amiss. Lisa, still caught up in her cooking, initially dismissed his frantic behavior. "You silly little guy, I'll play with you in just a minute," she reassured him, turning her attention back to the stove. But Nibbles was not to be ignored. He raced to the kitchen, his instincts kicking in as he sensed the growing danger. The heat from the pot had intensified, and smoke began to rise, curling into the air like a dark omen. It was then that Nibbles' urgency transformed into determination. He knew he had to act quickly to get Lisa's attention before it was too late. As the smoke thickened, Nibbles darted back to Lisa, tugging at her pant leg with renewed vigor. This time, his frantic squeaks were accompanied by a sense of desperation. Lisa finally noticed the change in his demeanor, and a flicker of concern crossed her mind. Okay, Nibbles. What's wrong?" she said, her voice tinged with confusion. Realizing that her playful ferret was trying to warn her, she followed him into the kitchen, where the reality of the situation hit her like a cold wave. The once inviting aroma of her dinner was now overshadowed by the acrid smell of smoke filling the air. Panic surged through her as she turned to see the pot on the stove bubbling over, smoke billowing out and filling the kitchen with a thick haze. In that moment, Lisa's heart raced. She quickly rushed to the stove, her mind racing as she turned off the burner and opened the windows to let the smoke escape. The realization of how close she had come to a disaster washed over her, and she felt a wave of gratitude for Nibbles' alertness. As the smoke began to clear, Lisa scooped Nibbles into her arms, holding him tightly against her chest. "You saved me, little buddy!" she exclaimed, her voice filled with relief and affection. Nibbles nuzzled against her, his little heart racing from the excitement. From that day on, he was not just a pet. He was her little hero, a reminder of the bond they shared and the importance of listening to those we love. The evening had taken a turn, but Lisa was grateful for the lesson learned. After ensuring the kitchen was safe and the smoke had dissipated, she set Nibbles down on the kitchen counter, where he could watch her as she resumed her cooking. The atmosphere had shifted from one of chaos to a warm, comforting calm, and Lisa felt a newfound appreciation for her little companion. "Let's finish dinner together, shall we?" she said, smiling down at Nibbles, who was now perched on the counter, his tiny nose twitching as he sniffed the air. Lisa resumed her preparations, chopping vegetables and stirring the remaining ingredients in the pot. Nibbles, ever the curious ferret, watched intently, occasionally darting forward to investigate the smells wafting from the stove. As she worked, Lisa reflected on the close call she had just experienced. The thought of what could have happened if Nibbles hadn't alerted her sent a shiver down her spine. She realized that their bond was deeper than she had ever acknowledged. Nibbles wasn't just a pet. He was a protector, a little guardian who had saved her from a potentially disastrous situation. Once dinner was ready, Lisa set the table, her heart still racing from the earlier excitement. She prepared a small plate of vegetables and a few pieces of pasta for Nibbles, knowing he loved to share in her meals. As she placed the food in front of him, she couldn't help but laugh. "You're quite the little hero, you know that. I think you deserve a special treat tonight." Just then, the doorbell rang, signaling the arrival of her friends. Lisa quickly tidied up the kitchen, ensuring everything was in order before welcoming them in. As her friends entered, they were greeted by the delicious aroma of dinner and the sight of Nibbles, who was now happily munching on his pasta. "Wow, Lisa, your place smells amazing," one of her friends exclaimed, taking in the cozy atmosphere. "And look at Nibbles. He's living the good life." Lisa chuckled, feeling a sense of pride. "He's not just living the good life. He's my little hero. You won't believe what he did tonight." She recounted the story of how Nibbles had alerted her to the smoke, and her friends listened in awe, their eyes wide with admiration. "Ferrets are so smart," another friend remarked. "I had no idea they could be so intuitive." As the evening progressed, laughter and conversation filled the apartment. Lisa's friends were captivated by Nibbles' antics, and he basked in the attention, darting around and showing off his playful personality. The earlier tension of the evening faded away, replaced by warmth and camaraderie. After dinner, as they settled on the couch with dessert, Lisa felt a wave of gratitude wash over her. She looked down at Nibbles, who was curled up in her lap, content and happy. "You really are something special, Nibbles," she whispered, stroking his soft fur. "I don't know what I would do without you." Nibbles looked up at her, his bright eyes sparkling with affection, as if he understood every word. In that moment, Lisa realized that their bond had grown stronger than ever. She had always loved Nibbles, but now she felt a profound sense of connection, knowing that he had not only brought joy into her life, but had also saved it in a moment of danger. As the night wore on, Lisa and her friends shared stories, laughter, and memories, but in the back of her mind, she couldn't shake the feeling of gratitude for her little hero. Nibbles had proven that even the smallest creatures could have the biggest impact, and she vowed to always cherish and protect him, just as he had done for her. The following days passed in a blur of joy and gratitude. Lisa found herself more attentive to Nibbles, often taking time to play with him and shower him with affection. She realized that their bond was not just about companionship, it was about trust and understanding. Nibbles had shown her that he was more than just a pet. He was a part of her family. One sunny Saturday morning, Lisa decided it was the perfect day for an adventure. She had heard about a local pet-friendly park that offered plenty of space for Nibbles to explore. Excited by the idea, she packed a small bag with treats, a water bottle, and a cozy blanket for their outing. Nibbles, sensing the excitement, darted around the apartment, his energy infectious. When they arrived at the park, Lisa was greeted by the sight of lush green grass and the sound of laughter from families enjoying the day. She found a quiet spot under a large oak tree and spread out the blanket, setting up a little picnic for herself and Nibbles. As she unpacked the treats, Nibbles eagerly explored his new surroundings, darting through the grass and sniffing every interesting scent. "Look at you go!" Lisa laughed, watching as Nibbles bounded around, his little body full of energy and curiosity. He was in his element, exploring the vast expanse of the park, and Lisa couldn't help but smile at his antics. She felt a sense of freedom and joy, knowing that they were both enjoying this special day together. After a while, Lisa called Nibbles back to the blanket, and he scampered over, his tiny paws pattering against the grass. She offered him a few treats, which he eagerly accepted, his little nose twitching with delight. "You're such a good boy, Nibbles," she said, scratching behind his ears. "I'm so glad we're here together." As they enjoyed their picnic, Lisa noticed other parkgoers watching Nibbles with curiosity. A few children approached, their eyes wide with wonder. "Can we pet your ferret?" one little girl asked, her voice filled with excitement. "Of course," Lisa replied, smiling. She gently lifted Nibbles and held him out for the children to see. They giggled and reached out to pet him, their faces lighting up with joy as Nibbles sniffed their hands and nuzzled against them. Lisa felt a warm glow in her heart, knowing that Nibbles was bringing happiness to others, just as he had brought happiness to her. After the children had their fill of petting Nibbles, they ran off to play, leaving Lisa and her little hero to enjoy the rest of their day. As the sun began to set, casting a golden hue over the park, Lisa decided to take a stroll with Nibbles. She placed him in a small, secure carrier that allowed him to peek out and enjoy the sights and sounds of the park. As they walked along the winding paths, Lisa reflected on how much her life had changed since adopting Nibbles. He had not only saved her from a dangerous situation, but had also filled her days with laughter and love. She felt a deep sense of gratitude for their bond, one that had grown stronger through their shared experiences. Suddenly, as they rounded a corner, Lisa noticed a commotion up ahead. A small crowd had gathered, and she could hear the sound of distressed voices. Curiosity piqued, she approached the scene, Nibbles peeking out from his carrier. As she got closer, she saw a young boy sitting on the ground, tears streaming down his face. He had lost his favorite toy, a small stuffed animal, and was clearly upset. Without thinking, Lisa knelt down beside the boy. "What happened?" she asked gently, her heart aching for him. "I lost my bunny," he sobbed, pointing to a nearby bush. "I can't find it anywhere." Lisa glanced at the bush and then back at the boy. "Don't worry, we'll find it together," she said, her voice reassuring. She turned to Nibbles, who seemed to sense the boy's distress. "Nibbles, can you help us find the bunny?" To her surprise, Nibbles perked up, his little nose twitching as he sniffed the air. He hopped out of the carrier and began to explore the area around the bush, his instincts kicking in. The boy watched in awe as Nibbles darted around, sniffing and searching with determination. After a few moments, Nibbles paused, his nose pointing toward a small patch of grass just beyond the bush. He began to dig gently with his paws, and Lisa's heart raced with hope. "Look!" she exclaimed, pointing to where Nibbles was digging. "I think he found something." The boy's eyes widened with excitement as he rushed over to see. Sure enough, as Nibbles dug a little deeper, he unearthed the stuffed bunny, its soft ears peeking out from the grass. The boy squealed with delight, his tears instantly replaced by a beaming smile. "You found it! You really found it!" he shouted, scooping up the bunny and hugging it tightly. Lisa couldn't help but smile at the joy on the boy's face. "Thanks to Nibbles," she said, beaming with pride. The boy knelt down to pet Nibbles, who seemed to bask in the attention, his little tail wagging with happiness. As the crowd dispersed, Lisa felt a sense of fulfillment wash over her. Nibbles had not only saved her life, but had now brought joy to another child in need. She realized that their bond was not just about companionship, it was about making a difference in the lives of others. As they made their way back to the blanket, the sun setting behind them, Lisa felt grateful for the day's adventures. She knew that Nibbles was more than just a pet. He was a true hero, a little creature with a big heart, capable of bringing light into the lives of those around him. The days turned into weeks, and Lisa and Nibbles continued to share countless adventures together. Each outing brought new experiences, and their bond deepened with every moment spent in each other's company. Lisa found herself more attuned to Nibbles' needs and instincts, appreciating the unique connection they shared. One afternoon, as they lounged on the couch after a long day, Lisa reflected on how much Nibbles had changed her life. The little ferret had not only saved her from a dangerous situation, but had also taught her the importance of being present and attentive. She realized that their relationship was built on trust, love, and a mutual understanding that transcended words. Inspired by their experiences, Lisa decided to start a blog dedicated to sharing their adventures and the lessons they learned along the way. She wanted to highlight the incredible bond between pets and their owners, showcasing how animals could be heroes in their own right. With Nibbles by her side, she began documenting their outings, sharing stories of bravery, joy, and the little moments that made life special. As the blog gained traction, Lisa received messages from readers who were touched by her stories. Many shared their own experiences of how their pets had saved them or brought joy into their lives. Lisa felt a sense of community forming, a network of pet lovers who understood the profound impact animals could have on our lives. One day, as she was writing a new post about their recent trip to the park, Lisa received a message from a local animal shelter. They had come across her blog and were inspired by her stories. They invited her to participate in an upcoming event aimed at raising awareness about pet adoption and the importance of animal welfare. Excited by the opportunity, Lisa agreed to help. She knew that Nibbles had a special way of connecting with people, and she wanted to share his story to encourage others to consider adopting pets in need. Together, they prepared for the event, practicing their routine and ensuring Nibbles was ready to charm the crowd. On the day of the event, the park was filled with families, children, and pets of all shapes and sizes. Lisa set up a booth with photos of Nibbles and stories from their adventures. As people stopped by to learn more, Nibbles delighted everyone with his playful antics, darting around and showing off his tricks. Lisa shared their story, recounting how Nibbles had saved her life and how their bond had grown stronger through their shared experiences. The crowd listened intently, captivated by the connection between the two. Many were moved by the idea that a small creature could have such a significant impact on a person's life. As the day went on, Lisa noticed a little girl watching Nibbles with wide eyes. She seemed shy, standing back from the crowd, but her fascination was evident. Lisa smiled and beckoned her over. "Would you like to meet Nibbles?" she asked gently. The girl nodded, her eyes lighting up with excitement. Lisa carefully lifted Nibbles from his carrier and placed him in the girl's hands. The little girl giggled as Nibbles sniffed her fingers, his playful nature shining through. "He's so soft," she exclaimed, her face beaming with joy. Lisa knelt down beside her. "He really is special. Nibbles has a way of making people smile, doesn't he?" The girl nodded enthusiastically, her shyness melting away as she interacted with the little ferret. As the event came to a close, Lisa felt a sense of fulfillment wash over her. She had not only shared Nibbles' story, but had also helped connect people with the joy of pet ownership. The little girl, now filled with happiness, approached Lisa one last time. "Can I have a picture with Nibbles?" she asked, her eyes sparkling. "Of course," Lisa replied, positioning Nibbles in the girl's arms as they both smiled for the camera. In that moment, Lisa realized that Nibbles was not just her hero, he was a hero to many, spreading joy and love wherever he went. As they packed up their booth, Lisa felt grateful for the opportunity to share their story and inspire others. She knew that Nibbles had a special purpose, one that extended beyond their own lives. Together, they were making a difference, one smile at a time. In the months that followed, Lisa and Nibbles continued to participate in community events, spreading awareness about pet adoption and the importance of animal welfare. Their bond grew stronger with each adventure, and Lisa cherished every moment spent with her little hero. As the seasons changed, Lisa found herself reflecting on the journey they had taken together. Nibbles had not only saved her life, but had also opened her heart to the world around her. She had learned to appreciate the small things, to be present in the moment, and to recognize the power of love and companionship.